V81 Radio. V81 Radio. V81 Radio. V81 Radio. V81 Radio. Basta all hits, all Pinoy. Kahit nasaan ka man, ito'y mapapakinggan. V81 Radio, V81 Radio. 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 V81 Radio, V81 Radio.
O Diyos aming Ama, ang lahat ng nilalang ay marapat na sumamba sa iyo. Higit sa iyong mga biyaya, sinasamba ka namin dahil ikaw ay ikaw. Lumalapit kami sa iyo, dakilang tagapaglikha, nagsusumamo at humihingi ng kapatawaran. Kami ay nagkulang at nagkasala. Patawarin mo kami sa katigasan ng aming mga puso. Turuan mo kami at dalhin sa inyong kalooban. Tingnan mo kami ng may awa at kahabagan. Hilumin mo po ang aming bayan, ang aming mga mahal sa buhay, kaibigan, kapitbahay, karatig bayan, ganon din ang aming mga kaaway sa pandemyang kinahaharap namin sa COVID-19. Isama niyo na rin ang mga may sakit sa iba't ibang karamdaman. Panginoon, balutin mo kami ng inyong kaluwalhatian. Itago mo kami sa lilim ng inyong mga pakpak laban sa anumang kapahamakan o wala sa oras na kamatayan. Kristo, ang tinapay ng buhay, alalahanin niyo po ang mga namumuno sa aming bansa, ang mga ilaw at haligi ng bawat tahanan, at mga kawani na nagtatanggol sa aming seguridad at mga frontliners. Batid mo, Panginoon, ang mga dinaraanan at bawat ganap sa aming buhay. Espiritong Banal, aming tanggulan at gabay, imulat ang aming mga mata at ipakita si Jesus ang Panginoon at tagapagligtas, ang nag-iisang katotohanan at tanging daan tungo sa Ama. Wala nang iba. Purihin ka, O aming Diyos. Ang presensya mo ay tunay na biyaya ng aming buhay. Ito ang aming samot panalangin sa pangalan ni Jesus, Kordero ng Diyos na nag-aalis ng kasalanan ng mundo. Amen.
Walang kasing saya ang Paskong Pinoy. Dumaan man ang problema at pandemya, kayang-kayang lampasan. Basta't nagdadamayan at nagmamahalan.
Ho, ho, ho! Merry Christmas!
Tuloy na tuloy pa rin ang Pasko dito sa V81 Radio, Manila.
Ito ang paborito ng bawat Pilipino. Basta all hits, all Pinoy, panalo. Merong kwentong iyakan at tawanan. Kahit nasaan ka man, ito'y mapapakinggan. Oh,
V81 Radio, V81 Radio.
ito ang radio mo, ito ang radio ko.
V81 Radio, V81 Radio.
Dahil mahal namin kayo.
V81 Radio, V81 Radio.
Para sa inyo ito, V81 Radio.
The views and opinions expressed in the following program are those of the program anchors and producers and do not necessarily reflect the policies and position of this station. Here now is the program for the millennials that will showcase young professionals' worth, aspirations, and successes in doing what they believe is right, progressive, and inclusive. Join them as they discover the path to self and societal fulfillment while making a difference. Hosted by empowered and cool millennial Erika Mison, together with her fellow millennials, they will be making a difference. Only here on V81 Radio, South Manila.
Good afternoon, everyone. So you are now tuned in to Making a Difference. So it is a show created to inspire and motivate the youth of today. My name is Erika Mison, and I will be your host and online friend. All right, so last week I kickstarted the season. So we're already in season 3 with Be a Giver. So it's an organization that gives back, basically. So it was a really nice story. Their founder actually really pursued his education and he studied in the States because of someone just gave him a bag, basically. So somebody believed in him, therefore he was able to pursue his education in the US, and then he came back and then he started Be a Giver. So if you want to know more about that Be a Giver, you can check out my previous episode, which is season 3, episode 1. You can find it on Making a Difference Facebook page. You can also find it on V81 Radio's YouTube channel. Okay, so for this episode, actually, just so you know, it's National Deaf Awareness Week. So it started from November 10 and it's running up until November 16. Now, because of this, I decided to invite this very special foundation, but I will introduce them to you after we roll this video.
To attend, to inform us all your plans, voiceless, penless, we follow and on. Warriors we encounter every day of our lives, always wishing for a ride. Some of us win, some of us lose the fight. There's no one size fits all. When you need all of everyone, consult us, hear us. We have the voices for us to be here. Warriors we encounter every day of our lives. Always pushing for right. Some of us win, some of us lose the fight. There's no one size fits all. When you need all our reverence, so as hear us, we have the voices for us to be here. It is nothing about us without us. It is nothing about us without us.
And there you have it. I would like to introduce to you three of my guests for today from the Leonard Cheshire Disability Philippines Foundation. First, we have Doc Maureen Mata. She is the Board of Trustees member. Hello po, Doc.
Yan. Hello, Erika.
Hello
Yes,
po.
good afternoon sa iyo, sa mga nanonood sa atin sa Making a
Good
Difference.
afternoon din po. And then we have Miss Hazel Joy Borja. She is the Executive Director and Programs Manager. Hello po, Miss Hazel.
Hi, Miss Erika. Magandang hapon sa ating lahat.
Ayan. And then, last but not the least, we have Miss Ana Fe Maravillas. She is the Project Partner Leader. Hello po, Miss Ana Fe.
Hello, good afternoon to all the viewers. Hello, Erica.
Hello po. So here we have three of my guests for today. They are again from the Leonard Cheshire Disability Philippines Foundation. So Doc Mau, before we start, actually napansin ko po na you were one of the writers po ba for the song that was actually played before I introduced to you? Kasi nakalagay doon, lyrics by.
Actually, it was some sort of a poem that I composed or write, no? And then we decided to have, because there is one activity that we're having with one of our donors, also BNI, and it's some sort of making being a person with disability or being creative, for you to be able to do your advocacy creatively. So, and then I requested one of our partners in Bohol. Actually, they are blind, no?
Okay.
Para lapatan itong lyrics na sinulat ko. And actually, I pushed him. Pwedeng pakigawa na ng ngayon. Lapatan mo na ng kanta ngayon din. Sabi ko sa kanya, hindi bukas na po, hindi ngayon na, sabi ko. So, parang ang nangyari pa kasi yung mga instruments nila ay nabaha that time sa Bohol. So, yung video nila dito, medyo basa pa yung lahat ng mga equipments nila. So, we made do of what we have. Yun.
When was this po? What year po siya nagawa?
That's just this year, no? July. Yes, it's July. And okay lang naman na sabihin ko ang aming donor kasi is voice, no? So, At sa Voice Facebook page, sa website din nila, shinare din nila ito, saka sa YGO. Yan.
No, okay. So, will we be able to find it po ba on Spotify soon? Spotify ka agad, no?
Oh, actually, ayusin namin, parang i-revise din namin itong video na to, papa-edit namin. So, humingi rin kasi kami ng tulong sa Center for Disaster Preparedness to have this. But for LCDPFI, we will be putting all our action photos. So, there will be another one and it will be officially be launched, of course, in our Facebook page then. And hopefully, it will be in Spotify. So, lalapatan po natin po ng apat na boses para may pagka-choral version din.
Yan, exciting naman po yan. I can't wait to hear that no for on Spotify. So, ayun nga po. Now let's dive into the foundation. So, what is the Leonard Cheshire? Tama po ba yung pronunciation ko? Leonard Cheshire Disability.
Yes. Actually, in UK, it's Cheshire. But when you're here in the Philippines, it's Cheshire, no? Nasanay kasi sa Pilipinas, Cheshire. But in UK, because Leonard Cheshire is a person, ano? He's a war veteran, actually. So, kanya nakapangalan yan. And,
okay. Sige. So, I believe no po we have a very short presentation on what the foundation is. So, can we show po the slide? There we go.
Yeah, but we would want to make it more kind of chikahan, no? Dito sa ating sa iyong sa iyong program, Erika, para lalo na po mag-enjoy din yung mga viewers natin here and of course sa Facebook no Making a Difference and in other Facebook page where it was shared already. So, Leonard Cheshire Disability Philippines Foundation Incorporated po ay isang organization, no? It's a disability-focused organization. But first, of course, na-mention mo naman na kaming tatlo. Since how many years pong magkakasama na kaming tatlo sa sektor ng kapansanan? Si Hazel at saka si Ate Ana Fe. Yan. So, LCDPFI, short po ng Leonard Cheshire Disability Philippines Foundation Incorporated, has been founded by a war veteran in United Kingdom. His name is Leonard Cheshire or Leonard Cheshire. Pag hinanap niyo po siya sa amin, matagal na po siyang nawala. No? Matagal na po siyang patay. At nananahimik na po. Nasa heaven na po siya ngayon. At doon po sa UK ito nagsimula at nag-build po siya ng mga isa war veteran na na-disabled po. At tinulungan niya rin po yung mga kasama niya po mga na-disabled din. At nagtatag po ng parang Cheshire homes. Hindi lamang po sa UK, kundi sa iba't ibang bansa po dito sa buong mundo, no? So, napakaraming Cheshire homes po ngayon. At dahil po doon, dito po sa Pilipinas ay na-organize or natatag din po tayo, pero not as a branch of Leonard Cheshire or Cheshire homes po. Ano po? Kundi it's a separate organization, it's a separate group po na independent, no, from Leonard Cheshire UK. So kami po ay isang na-mention ko kanina, we are a national disability focused organization, non-stock, non-profit, and 10 years na po kami noong September 2020. So isang dekada na po kami na nagpo-promote and protect the rights of persons with disabilities in the Philippines. We are a registered and accredited as a social welfare agency by the Department of Social Welfare and Development. Strategic partner din po kami ng Leonard Cheshire UK. It's a UK-based NGO which supports people with disabilities in their efforts to secure education, livelihood, healthcare, and participation in the society. And we are also a member of the Leonard Cheshire Disability Global Alliance. So, marami po, no? Outside the Philippines, ito. Yan po, ito po yung aming mission, vision, no po. So, syempre, meron po kaming parang binabatayan, ano, na sinusundan namin. We promote, paulit-ulit po ako, pero hindi po kami disabled people's organization, but we are a disability-focused organization wherein we promote and protect the rights of every Filipino with disabilities We promote and help attain an inclusive, barrier-free, and rights-based society for all, and we create opportunities for persons with disabilities to become self-reliant and attain their full potential as a productive members of our society and as an individual. And our vision, of course, is an inclusive, barrier-free, and rights-based society for all, where persons with disabilities are empowered citizens in their communities and actively participating in social and economic development. And we have our founding chairperson. She's almost 90 years old, and she's Miss Lourdes Reyes. Yes, she's philanthropist, ano? Pagdating po no, sa mga vulnerable sectors, not just for persons with disabilities, ay matulungin po ng aming founding chairperson. Kasama po ng aming mga, ito po, aming mga, yes, yung nasa screen po, yung may white hair na po na nakatatanda, na nakaharap po sa isang nanay na may bitbit na baby. Yan po. Kahit po siya po ay senior citizen, baka po mas malakas pa po siya sa akin. Okay, no? Siguro physically, in terms of willpower and her determination to assist and help persons with disabilities in our community. And of course, showing you also our president of the board, his attorney Jose Recelo IV, along with all our staff in Manila, in Jensen, and in Bohol, because we have around 4 projects with our organizations as of the moment. So we have these teams in Jensen and in Bohol and Manila. So yan, so masisipag po ang aming mga teams, lalo na po ngayong panahon ng pandemya at panahon po ng tagbagyo, no, ng ating disaster. So, syempre, nakaakibat po ang ating mga staff or mga empleyado po because they are working din po sa grassroots level. And here are our core programs. Our core programs include inclusive education, wherein we promote access to quality education of children with disabilities. Our Young Voices, we promote leadership of youth with disabilities and support empowerment to become advocates of their rights according to United Nations Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities. And of course, our current flagship program, no? Economic empowerment, wherein we support able persons with disabilities find meaningful employment and achieve economic independence. Included din po dito yung livelihood. And I will, okay lang ba na para mas ma-share, no, ng aming, ano bang meron sa organization namin about all our projects, I'll, okay lang na ibigay na namin sa aming Executive Director, Erika, kay Hazel Borja.
Yeah. Yes po. Hi, Miss Aid. Actually, okay lang po. Before we get po into the programs, I actually have a question po. No, I'm curious lang. How did each one of you po get involved in this foundation? Maybe.
Ako? Paano ba? More than 5 years ago, kasi si Hazel po ay nakakasama ko na po sa isang NGO, disability, ano rin siya, focus din siya. And nagkaroon na, yun, meron kaming, doon po ako na-train initially, no, sa NGO or DPO na ito, no, kung saan po nakapacitate as a leader for persons with disabilities. At doon ko po nakilala si Hazel. At nung napunta si Hazel sa LCTPFI, nag-reach out po kami sa isa't isa with regard to livelihood. Sabi ko, gusto kong bigyan kasi I'm a president of our Person with Disability Association here in my barangay in West Rembo, Makati City. Sabi ko, gusto ko matulungan na maging productive yung aming members dito. So, nagbigay sila ng livelihood support, yung bead making, rag making. So, yung hindi pa hindi pa gano'n kakilala yung paggawa ng mga rags nung mga panahon na yun, ano, yung mga beads and at kung ano-ano pa po. Yun, nagbigay po. At the same time, nung nagkaroon ng memorandum of understanding with our po ng barangay and entire barangay council, pumunta po yung aming founding chairperson doon, si Ms. Lulu, at nakita niya po ako. At sinabi niya po sa akin, would you like to be part of the board of the organization? Sabi ko, ayoko po. Sabi ko. And tapos bilang nagpatawag ng meeting, sabi sa akin, Doc Mau, okay ka lang bang umattend ng meeting sa Leonard Cheshire? Ito po sa aming lumang office, sa malapit po sa Labor Hospital. Ano po. At hindi ko po alam board, sinabi ko na, no, board meeting na pala yun. At in-include, dalawa po kami in-include, no? Dalawa po kami person with disability doon. At yung isa po ay naka-wheelchair na lawyer. Yan. So, doon po parang nakita ko naman na napakaganda yung ginagawa ng LCBTFI. So, okay, I'll give it a try. So, and then, the rest is history po. Yan.
Ganun pala. How about you po, Miss Hazel? How did you find out about the foundation, or how did you get to start with the foundation?
Thanks, Miss Erica. This is usually very exciting part whenever I asked about my engagement in disability and how I became part of an organization of Leonard Sechar Disability Philippines. First, I'd like to share siguro, it all started, siguro sabihin ko, passion ko sa pakikipag-ugnayan at pakikipagtrabaho sa mga persons with disabilities when I used to be a student pa, an intern. So, hindi ko na sasabihin kung ilang taon na yon or else mabubukan yung edad ko, diba? But that was more than 2 decades ago. So, yun.
Okay, so you all still so young.
So, by profession po, I am a physical therapist. So, I was assigned as an intern in one of a rehabilitation facility. It's a community-based center somewhere in the province in Iloilo. And dun po ako na-assign. And after my graduation, I became a volunteer of that facility. And yun na po, tuloy-tuloy na after graduation. After volunteering, I applied for a work. That time, merong available na position for a physical therapist. So from Iloilo, I was assigned in Quezon City. So talagang nag-a-adventure talaga ako, but it's still a community-based, rehabilitation facility where I focus on working with children with disabilities and parents, organizing parents of children with disabilities. Then I was engaged in that project for 15 years. Okay, so, yon. Talagang lahat ng gawain tungkol sa may kapansanan, pag-oorganisa ng mga parents, ng mga pakikipag-ugnayan sa mga local government para mag-establish ng rehabilitation center at iba-iba pang mga gawain na nagsusulong ng karapatan ng mga may kapansanan ay naging, passion ko na until the project ended because we have the funder has to move to another country. That's when I saw the opening for Leonard Sechar Philippines. So I really wanted to have, after graduation, nag-work na agad ako. So I really wanted to have a break. But during those breaks, hindi pa rin. I became volunteer of other organizations na disability rin yung kanilang focus. So, yon. And then I came across of the job opening for Leonard Sechar, and then I applied there. So from being a rehab practitioner, nag-focus naman po ako doon sa employment part ng mga persons with disabilities where we promote the access to employment and also to livelihoods. Then nag-evolve siya into education and also youth participation. Now, I didn't realize that kung nag 10 years na si Leonard Sechar ay almost spent na 9 years being part of this organization. So, yon. And
Congratulations po.
yeah, napakabilis lang ng panahon.
Opo.
Ayun.
Okay, so talagang you're really, both of you po, si Doc Mao and si Miss Hazel, talagang from the ground up with the foundation. I wanna ask naman po si Miss Anna Fe. So she is a project partner leader. So Miss Anna Fe po, how did you get involved with the foundation? What do you do as a project partner leader?
So, good afternoon po ulit, no? Ngayon ko lang na-realize na halos sabay-sabay pala nag-start yung mga organizations. I thought yung Leonard Sechar is way ahead of us, no? Sa dami ng ginagawa niya before, but now I realize na halos sabay lang pala siya because the Spinas Person with Disability Federation was federated in August of 2009. No, I still remember I was a private person before na wala akong kalam-alam sa government. And wala akong alam-alam sa disability because I was not born with a disability. No, so I always describe my life parang half-half. Half person with disability and half a able person, no? So, na-enjoy ko pareho. But, when I joined the disability sector, hindi siya planado. No, it was parang an accident lang na I was planning to enroll in a I think that was way back 2008, no, regarding BPOs, no, yung mga call center type, pero medical transcriptionist yung gusto kong kuhanin nun. But then, when I applied for, I think that was Nova Foundation at that time, yung class na inopen nila for as a medical transcriptionist ay konti lang ang nag-apply. I think 2 lang kami or 3. So, hindi siya nag-push through. But, that was my entry point. Kasi doon ko nalaman na meron na palang person with disability ID. And I have to apply for one. So, nung nagpunta, when we visited yung DSWD ng aming city, then a focal person there talked to me about nag-start ang organization. So, to end the long story short, I ended up being an officer of the Las Piñas Person with Disability 2009, and in 2011, I became the president. So, nung time na yon, ayun yung kasagsagan ng lobbying eh. Wala pang mga budget. I think I visited Makati din, Makati Federation with sila Doc Mao. At kami parang understudy nila. Kumbaga sa OJT. Nag-aaral kami from Makati Fed, how they did it, na nag-engage with the government. So, nung time na yun, yung 2009 to 2011 was a difficult period. Kasi wala masyadong budget. Ang barangay ang aming nilalapitan for projects and activities. That was the time Leonard Sechar came in. No, I think it was Ready to Succeed project of Leonard Sechar na nag-bump in kami ni Miss Hazel in one of the seminars, I think of the many seminars we attended before, no? At sinabi niya na may project ang Leonard Sechar, and tamang-tama, we really needed a livelihood at the time. So, nung nag-engage kami with the Ready to Succeed program nila, marami sa officers ko ang nag-training, no, doon. marami sa officers namin. Actually, marami dun sa trainings na ginawa ng Leonard Sechar was the first ng mga officers ng Las Piñas Person with Disability Federation. I still remember two of our officers, sobrang takot nila, no? The first time they engaged sa leadership training ng Leonard, no? Sobrang takot nilang mag-report and mag-engage, mag-participate. So, looking back, no, I realize napakalaki nung ginawang tulong ng Leonard Sechar sa Federation. Kung titignan kung nasaan kami ngayon at how the officers have become empowered, yung starting years namin was part of that was Leonard Sechar. So I'm very much grateful. And I myself, no, every time na magbabump in kami ni Hazel sa mga seminars, we would always talk about possible collaborations. At yun yung nilulook forward namin palagi, even if nakakakuha na kami ng budget from the local government, we still want to engage. At ngayon nga, as a partner leader, no, ng Las Piñas, nakasama po kami sa Voice Project ng Leonard Sechar. Siguro trivia lang, 2 years before nag-materialize yung Leonard Sechar Project na Voice, ay sabay din kami umattend ni Ma'am Hazel sa isang it was a fundraising, no, by Voice. At marami kaming project pinag-uusapan noon. But none of that na materialize na kami yung nag-lead. But two of that project, one with Leonard and the other one with CDP, both dream projects of the Federation, materialized because of them. So we're very grateful ngayon na 2 years, no? 2 years na yung tinakbo, how time flies, na ang dami ng pinanganak from the very first na yung project ay nag-start, no? From the organization assessment, after that time ngayon na nag-training na ng resource speakers for the DAST. It was, kumbaga, ang layo na ng tinakbo ng programa, and we're very grateful na ngayon we're trying to make a difference by coming into policy making. So yun yung exciting about this engagement. So we're really grateful with Leonard Sechar.
Yeah. Thank you po, Miss Anna Fe, for sharing. Actually, also even Doc Mao and Miss Hazel for sharing your stories. And I'm really excited to get to know more about the foundation and ano po talaga yung mga iba-ibang projects of the foundation. But before we proceed to the next segment, we are gonna go on a very, very short break. We have a few announcements, so don't leave. We are gonna be right back.
We'll be back shortly, making a difference. Only here on V81 Radio, South Manila. Connected ka na ba para laging updated sa mga bagong shows, promos, trending news, viral videos, events, o patok na OPM hits? Just follow us on Facebook at V81 Radio South Manila. Simple lang, itype lang ang letter V81 Radio South Manila. O, di ba madali lang? Kaya i-like at i-follow na. Are you ready to explore a new kind of music? Yung bang kakaiba na hindi mo pa napapakinggan? Mga bagong artist. Nagugulat sa inyo sa kanilang awit at tugtugan. Discover them, hear them in Napalm Hour. Ang Napalm ay ang new all-Pinoy alternative music source na para sa kakaibang musika. Alternative artists and bands all the time. Catch them at Napalm Hour. Mondays through Fridays, 12 noon to 1 p.m. and 8 to 9 p.m. Streaming live on V81 Radio mobile app. Kaya i-download mo na for free. Now na! A spirit-filled song that talks about healing from the Lord Jesus Christ, our great healer.
Nasasaktan, kumikirot ang aking puso.
Hilumin mo, awit ng kagalingan at pagsamba by Felsen.
Hilumin mo ang sukat ng aking puso.
Digitally available everywhere and here on V81 Radio.
Ikot pagturo ko dahil lang ngayon at ang bukas.
Now back to Making a Difference, only here on V81 Radio, South Manila.
Welcome back to Making a Difference. So if you are just tuning in right now, my name is Erika Mison and you are watching Making a Difference. So this is a show created to inspire and really motivate the youth of today. So for this episode, I invited a very, very special foundation called the Leonard Cheshire Disability Philippines Foundation. Now, before the break, I introduced to you three of the guests that I have with me today. So we have Doc Maureen Mata. She is a member of the Board of Trustees. Then we have Miss Hazel Joy Borja. She is the Executive Director and Programs Manager. Then, of course, we have Miss Ana Fe Maravilla. She is the Project Partner Leader. So ayun po, before we took a break, we got to know the foundation and yung mga stories nila, how they started with the foundation. Now we can talk more about what they actually do, kung ano yung mga projects po nila. So Miss Hazel, we can talk about more of the projects of the foundation.
Yes. Thank you, Erika. Kanina, pinakilala ni Dr. Mao ang aming organization, and I'm also excited to share to everyone what we do in the organization. Well, let me share you a bit of our work in Leonard Cheshire Disability Philippines Foundation and how our various programs and projects complement each other. So Leonard Cheshire Disability Foundation has three core programs. It's inclusive education, which promotes access to quality education for children with disabilities. We also have our Young Voices, which promotes leadership of youth with disabilities 15 to 25 years old and support their empowerment to become advocates of their rights according to the United Nations Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities. And we have the Economic Empowerment Program, which supports and enables persons with disabilities find meaningful employment and achieve economic independence. So over the years, our flagship project is the Economic Empowerment Program. It supports persons with disabilities in their efforts to find jobs and start their small businesses or entrepreneurial activities for them to become economically independent. Our Genesis project is supported by Leonard Cheshire International and Genesis Charitable Trust. And our CBM project is supported by CBM International and CBM Philippines. Both projects serves as our delivery arm, service delivery arm, providing placement preparations, employment, and livelihood assistance to persons with disabilities. We provide a lot of capacity trainings to persons with disabilities for them to prepare for employment or to engage in livelihood activities. And we work closely with employers, local government units to ensure, and also private employers to ensure that they provide the needed support for persons with disabilities to access employment and livelihoods. We have our Voice or HIVOS project. This is the advocacy arm steering the work through capacity building of our partner organizations of persons with disabilities and creation of the employers network. Later on, I'll give back again the floor or virtual room natin kay Dr. Mao to share more about the Voice Project. But for now, I'll continue with the rest of the projects that we implement in Leonard Seshar. The recent project that we have is the digital project, which supports the, or this is a project supported by Leonard Seshar International and funded by Accenture Global Foundation. This project serves as our digital arm, where a digital assessment tool known as the Economic Inclusion Digital Pathway is recently developed and piloted in the Philippines. It basically aimed to help companies, private organizations, and even local government units and persons with disabilities, of course, in assessment, skills, and job matching. So each of our project contributes towards our overarching goal, which is to promote, economic empowerment of persons with disabilities. So
This is
that's basically our
actually,
project.
this is actually a really good project because you know, I actually studied in Benilde. I graduated from Benilde, and Benilde is actually known to have deaf students. So I was able to somehow communicate with them. But you know, they sila talaga they really strive hard po, no? Talagang they really want to work after graduating, you know, they want to have education as well. So this is actually a really good a very nice tool, very nice project, no, to really empower those who
That's what we actually, Erica, would like to send a message to employers and to everyone that we just give persons with disabilities an opportunity to prove themselves that, we can contribute to our development. We are also like anyone else that pwede kaming magtrabaho. So actually, we always tell our persons with disabilities, I mean partner employers, that, just give us an opportunity, provide us the needed support, and we could perform well, even well than others who don't have this ability. Yun yung lagi naming binibigay na mensahe, so that yung tagline nga ni Leonard Seshar is change the way you see disability. Gusto namin merong pagbabago sa perspective, pananaw sa mga persons with disabilities. And a lot of studies say that, employing persons with disabilities really contributes largely to the you know to the companies. Persons with disabilities who become part of the workforce are dedicated. Alam mo po yun. Alam nila ang hirap maghanap ng trabaho. So once they are given this opportunity at natatanggap sila sa companies, they really value that experience, and at the same time, yung binibigay na trabaho sa kanila ay talagang pinapakita nila yung kanilang best, because they know very well that it's not easy to have a job. And pag binigyan ng opportunity, they value that. So, kapalit nun ay loyalty, magandang performance. And sa totoo lang, maraming studies nagpapakita na yung mga persons with disabilities na nai-employ ay mababa yung kanilang attrition rate, and even mataas yung kanilang attendance. Walang absent yon, walang distraction din sa trabaho. Lalong-lalo na yung mga deaf persons po natin.
So, Miss Hazel, I have a question po regarding the recent project. So that's the LC Economic Inclusion Digital Pathway. So how do you connect po yung mga people with disabilities to the mga companies? How does the process go?
Sabi nga namin itong project, we launched it during this pandemic. So nabuo, na-conceptualize, nabuo, ni-launch itong proyektong ito during the pandemic. So we started the project in March and we launched it sometime in August. Itong digital tool na ito ay malaking tulong sa ating mga persons with disabilities and our employers to bridge the gap on the skills and assessment, skills and job matching. Eto po kasing tool na ito, when you log in, napaka-user-friendly po ito. I mean, for those who are blind and for those who have, you know, visual impairment, madali po siyang i-access. Napaka-accessible po. It's a tool na pwedeng i-download sa ating mga cellphone and pwedeng gamitin sa ating mga smartphones and sa mga computers po. You only have to create your profile as a person with disability, and now dinevelop namin to in such a way na napaka-inclusive siya. It does not exactly declare I am blind, I am a person with disability, but it serves as a self-assessment. You create a profile and then it asks questions. What are the abilities? What are the functional abilities that you're able to do? What kind of support do you need? So it gives a fair ground for everyone. And then hindi kasi for some employers pag dineclare mo agad a disability, they don't give you this chance. For us, it highlights the functional abilities of persons with disabilities. Now we are on the second phase of this project where we develop access to employers. So this time, if employers would like to partner with us, we give them access and they can scout or screen, possible candidates that they need for their companies. And yun yung trabaho namin. We only bridge the gap. Lalo na ngayon that we are dependent to technology. And there are companies as well that nag-freeze yung kanilang hiring. So we thought that this project came in the right time. Okay, while companies are not hiring yet, we create more profiles of our persons with disabilities so that by the time that companies are open again, and then we prepare them, and we also prepare our candidates. Meron na po kaming pool that pwede nating sabihin, okay, if you're needing some employees, you can just browse and then check on the profiles. Then you can connect with us. We will happily provide you the needed support, like sensitivity trainings to your companies to prepare also your workforce. So it's not just easily na magmamatch po kami. The condition here is you have to undergo sensitivity trainings so that yung process po na pag-hire ng mga persons with disabilities ay inclusive. Wala tayong discrimination na maririnig. Yeah.
Yes. So, tanong ko lang po, is the site already up and running?
Yes.
And let's say we have viewers now, who want to actually go to that site. Is it already?
Yeah, I think we can flash it later on. It's www.economicinclusion.lcdpfi.org. So it's up and running already. So we encourage for employers we are still developing the component for access for our employer partners. But for persons with disabilities, they can create their profiles already.
Ayan. So if we have viewers out there who are, there we go. So this is the website that you just need to visit and you can check it out. It's already up and running. So if we have viewers out there who are interested to check this out, I suggest you go to this website. Ayan. So, a while ago po, Miss Hazel, you mentioned that there's another project called the Voice
Yes.
Project. Tama po ba? Okay. So maybe we can talk about that a bit more, no, before we move to our next segment.
Yes, I'd like to ask Dr. Mao also. But before that, I'll just mention that over this pandemic time, ang dami ding efforts na ginawa ni Leonard Sechar. So, hindi namin nagawa ito na kami lang, but through the support of our other partners and employer partners, we were able to provide some kind of assistance. It's cash relief assistance, and of course, other, hygiene kits, and other, food packs to persons with disabilities na naapektuhan ng COVID, especially those persons who have lost their jobs and yung nawala ng livelihood. So, ayun, gusto ko lang i-highlight that our program is not only limited to the three core programs, but we also did something to somehow support our beneficiaries na makabangon or naapektuhan itong COVID-19. So, Dr. Mao.
Yes. Thank you, Hazel, no? Actually, nakakataba ng puso ko nung na-onboard po ako sa LCDPFI ay akala ko wala akong magagawang difference, ano? Ngunit pala, at yun nga lang ito ay focused on economic empowerment, and advocacy is one of my, ano ko ba sasabihin, ano, parang hindi naman forte, no? Siguro passion, lahat naman tayo. Pero naging opportunity ang Voice Equals Project, no, para mas ma-empower, mas strengthen persons with disabilities. And our objective for this project is to strengthen organizations of persons with disabilities in NCR in Bohol, and to promote, no, facilitate the network, the advocacy network, the disability network in promoting employment rights of persons with disabilities here in Metro Manila and in Bohol. So we have 16 organization partners. Here in we have 9 in Metro Manila, 1 in Kalumpit, Bulacan, and 6 in Bohol. So let me run it down to you guys. In Bohol, we have 1 provincial organization of persons with disabilities, and they are Bohol province workers with disabilities, no? And we have disability from Ilagan City, actually, Garmin, Talibon, Trinidad, Miguel. While in Kalumpit, kadamay ka, no? It's pushing kadamay, no? It's kadamay ka. It's an organization of persons with disabilities. Ano po, medyo lubog din po sa bagyo sa baha ngayon, ano po, dahil sa Kalumpit. Ano naman po, at minsan din po talaga yan, lalo sa pag-tide. Yan. And then, sa NCR po, meron yung 2 national organization. So, disability-specific po, isang Hard of Hearing Group Philippines, isang nationwide organization of visually impaired empowered ladies, so for low vision and blind person with disabilities. At meron din po tayong around 1 barangay federated organization. Ito po sa Barangay Santo Cristo, Quezon City. At meron po tayong 6 na city federated persons with disability organization wherein ang San Juan, Caloocan, Mandaluyong, Pasig, Makati, and Las Piñas ay isa po sa ating mga partners doon. So, we do, sabi ko nga, parallel approach, ano po, and we do also twin track approach, no? Na-mention kanina ni Ate Ana Fe and Hazel in needed ang awareness raising. So, for us to be able to strengthen our organization partners, we need for them to be capacitated, no? In the truest essence of the word. Kasi kulang, dahil hindi siguro before na nakita na may ability ang taong may kapansanan, no? So, dito kailangan baguhin natin. Dapat maintindihan nila ano ba yung totoong konsepto ng may kapansanan. At the same time, hindi lang po yung may kapansanan ang dapat na nakakaintindi, kundi yung mga taong naglilingkod sa area nila, other stakeholders like the employers, and of course, employees with and without disabilities. Kasi it takes two to tango, no? It takes four to tango, parang ganun. So it takes lots of people and organizations to understand everything para po magkaroon ng inclusion. And that's what we would like. And awareness raising and sensitivity training is one way for us to be able to capacitate our leaders, our members in the organization, our local authorities, our employers and employees, and for them to be able to understand ano ba talagang pangangailangan ng isang taong kapansanan. No? So, another is, of course, helping or providing um, technical assistance din sa ating mga local authorities in terms of their legislation. We have the policy already, but we don't know yet, no, how do, how to get, no, how they will be able to start, where they will get the budget. So, once we already capacitated our organizations, actually we created a pool of resource speakers coming from the 16 organization partners with different types of disabilities, no? They're starting to be our frontliners already and we would want them to be that way, no? So po namin sila mismo ang mag-advocate ng karapatan nila, karapatang pantao, karapatan natin, may kapansanan, at tayo po ay pupunta na sa backseat, no? Yun, we are empowering these people in the right, correct way, with good values, no? Na hindi po nalimutan nila na wala dapat na sasagasaan na natatapakan. And without finger pointing at other peoples, no? Because all of us are and should be held accountable, no? At kasama po tayo sa pagkaroon ng disability inclusive governance. And ano ba? Actually, napakarami po. No? With employers right now, we have created a loose network, advocacy network of employers, no? In promoting disability or inclusive employment. At tinutulungan po natin silang i-link sa mga strategic government agencies like Department of DOLE, Civil Service Commission, National Council on Disability Affairs, DILG, no? Para yung mga strategic partner division or bureaus din natin sa local government unit ay makausap natin, mako-coordinate at makakollaborate din natin in a friendly, harmonious way, no? For us to be able to reach our objective. Bawal po mga away, no? We help, we assist. Yeah. Actually, we tinutulungan po natin ang bawat isa, no? Kasi it's a learning experience on both our parts. Natututo po kami sa mga partners namin, natututo rin po sila sa atin. So, ganoon, no? There's value sa lahat po ng ginagawa natin. We're not doing this dahil makikilala po si Mau, hindi po. Makikilala si Hazel, makikilala si Ate Anife. Ito po yung gusto namin magkaroon ng inclusion in truest essence of the word. At mabago po yung pananaw, no? Yung negative perceptions ng bawat isa. Pagdating sa isang taong may kapansanan na isa siyang palamunin, no? Lahat pal na lang ng pal, no? Na isasampal sa amin ang pagkakaroon ng dahil sa amin, hindi kayo makaka-recover. Dahil sa amin, hindi kayo makaganon. Hindi po. Gusto po namin tulungan holistically ang isang taong may kapansanan na maging isang productive and contributing members of the society. And that's with the goal of the voice. We are collecting the many fragmented voices of persons with disabilities. And we would want to put that in one voice. Para po mapakinggan kami ng gobyerno at hindi po kami naiiwan because it's nothing about us without us. We're in Learner to Share Disability Philippines Foundation would want it to see or change the way we see disability.
Yes. Yun po ang kailangan po natin now and here also in the Philippines. So, tanong ko lang po, Doc. Pwede po bang mag-volunteer under the foundation? Let's say may mga interested po ngayon mag-volunteer for under the foundation, can they reach out to you po ba?
Yes, definitely we would be happy. We're grateful sa mga gusto mag-volunteer po. Actually, we have volunteer students and Hazel because we also accept not just students but advocates or those who would want to learn more and volunteer and help in one way or another, no, in their own capacity. Definitely. At kung gusto po nila, pwede po kami ma-reach out sa aming Facebook page. They could send message doon po at or sa mismo may website din po kami sa Leonard to Share. Ang aming pong Facebook page ay Leonard to Share Disability Philippines Foundation. Yan. And sa aming website din po, the same din ang name, with the Hazel. And yan. Or you can reach one of our project coordinators sa Manila, sa Bohol, and dyan sa Marises. And through our partner organizations po. Yan. Hindi lamang po itong 60 organizations ang partners namin, Erika. So that's only for voice, but with CBM and Genesis, we have lots, no? And more partners po na nakikitay up po ngayon, no? With employers and other LGUs. Thank you.
Ayan. So yun po, if to the viewers out there, if you want to volunteer for the foundation, you can find them on their Facebook page and their website, and please feel free to reach out to the foundation. There are a few comments here that I actually want to read out po, no? There's one from Alex Toriano. He says, many thanks to LCDFIPH for providing an avenue to showcase my talent and skills in the workplace. So I believe Sir Alex is under the foundation, and I think na ano siya, he knows also about the website po. No?
Yeah, Erica, just would like to say something. There's a comment then ni Alex. Alex is really one of our, we're very proud of him being a member of, Leonard Seshar family. Several years ago, it was not easy to find a job, but together we were able to gain, support Alex in one of the hotels, big hotels, and medyo matagal din naging part ng workforce ng hotel na yon, si Alex. So we're very proud of him kasi Alex really made a great job as well. Even in the workplace, si Alex ay malaking impluwensya din sa pagbabago ng pananaw ng mga persons para sa mga persons with disabilities who are part of a workforce. Siya ay isa sa mga inspirasyon at nagbibigay rin ng motivation sa kapwa persons with disabilities na pwede talaga tayo magtrabaho. But what is more important here is Alex being a part of the workforce. Malaki ang na-contribute din ni Alex para sa pag-change ng how people see disability. So, isa siya sa mga advocate and ng foundation din. Kaya, salamat Alex.
Thank
and
you, Alex.
happy to know that you are joining us, following this.
Oo nga,
this episode.
You're tuning in, but yes, thank you, Alex, and I hope you're doing well, no, Alex? There's also another comment here by Trish Canson. Yes, I love this. Persons with disabilities are close to my heart too. Ayan. So, we have people tuning in talaga who are really very close to those with.
Erika, just would
Yes.
like to add sa sinabi ko kanina ni Dr. Mao on volunteering. Kami sa Leonard Seshar, talagang wini-welcome po namin kahit sino na pwedeng mag-extend ng kanilang support in terms of financial, talent, networks, what linkages, kahit anong pwedeng assistance na pwede nating itap from your end. We welcome volunteers. Una, as interns also, we accept interns, student interns. Yeah, especially those who are social workers na mga interns we accept. And we also accept like interns who are working us on our communication arm our foundation. So other than that, we also welcome volunteers who are, facilitators of trainings, resource persons of training. So, nag-shift lang. Kasi dati, it's a face-to-face, engagement. Now, it's also a virtual delivery of training. So, we're happy to have, people who can share their talents in terms of, coaching, job coaching, mentoring, or talks about entrepreneurship, marketing, all this. Masayang-masaya po kami pag meron pong lumalapit sa amin.
Ayan po. So again, you heard it here on Making a Difference. If you want to volunteer, reach out for the foundation. Go ahead. You can check them out on their Facebook page and on their website as well. So we are gonna go on another break. But when we come back, ito ata po ang pinaka hihintay na segment. We are gonna talk to Miss Anna Fe, and we are gonna get to hear and listen to her story. So we are gonna be right back after these few announcements.
We'll be back shortly, making a difference. Only here on V81 Radio, South Manila. Are you ready to explore a new kind of music? Yung bang kakaiba na hindi mo pa napapakinggan? Mga bagong artist. Nagugulat sa inyo sa kanilang awit at tugtugan. Discover them, hear them in Napalm Hour. Ang Napalm ay ang new all-Pinoy alternative music source na para sa kakaibang musika. Alternative artists and bands all the time. Catch them at Napalm Hour. Mondays through Fridays, 12 noon to 1 p.m. and 8 to 9 p.m. Streaming live on V81 Radio mobile app. Kaya i-download mo na for free. Now na! Now back to Making a Difference. Only here on V81 Radio, South Manila.
Welcome back to Making a Difference. So on today's episode, I've invited three guests from the Leonard Cheshire Foundation. And before the break, we were just talking about the different programs that they provide to those with disabilities. So this foundation actually, they promote and protect the rights of people with disabilities here in the Philippines. So now we are going to move on to the last segment of the show. I would like to call back my guests again. So we have Doc Maureen Mata. She is a member of the Board of Trustees. Then we have Miss Hazel Joy Borja. She is the Executive Director and Programs Manager. Then, of course, we also have Miss Ana Fe Maravilla. She is the Project Partner Leader. So this segment is actually a new segment po on my show, and it's called #Adultology. Ayan, nasa na yung cover photo namin. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so I just want to give a brief background on this segment. This is a new segment for Making a Difference. Now, nowadays, yung mga kabataan, they're very into astrology. So, me personally, not so much. But then, I really pushed for this title. So, I just made it na lang #Adultology. So, this is where I ask my guests to give the words of encouragement or mga advice to our viewers. But today with us, we actually have Miss Ana Fe Maravillas, no? And she's actually going to share her story. This one, medyo excited po ako to know more about Miss Ana Fe's story. No? So, hello po again, Miss Ana Fe. Maybe you can share po to us, to the viewers also, your story.
Okay, hello again, Erika. So, siguro I'll be starting with, as I've said earlier, I was not born with a disability. So, I got my disability through an illness. Ito yung tinatawag nilang JRA or Juvenile Rheumatoid Arthritis. So, yung mga nararanasan ng mga senior citizens, no? Mga 70 pataas. I experienced it at the age of 16. No? Kaya juvenile siya. So, yung aking mobility, nagkaroon siya ng limitations. No? When I was in high school, I was even playing volleyball. No? So, yung mga pains, parang hindi ko masyadong iniinda, no? Because nga of the sport. So, when I studied sa college, no, dahil trimester sa Dalasal, no, sa TAP, ay hindi na ako nag-sports. No? Medyo concentrate sa studies. But then, I started having this painful episodes. No? Nag-start sa feet, and then sa knuckles. No? So, kakaroon siya ng mga burning sensation, saka painful. So, yun. So, nung ako'y na-diagnose, after lengthy test na ginawa sa akin, at that time, sabi ng doctor, we are only 5 in a million na meron nung type of illness na yon that time. So, just like any other teenager, no, at my age na ang daming dreams, ang daming mong plans, ang daming mong gustong gawin. But then, it dawned on me na eto nga, nagkaroon ako ng illness. So I started reading about etong JRA at nakita ko na yung position na I have right now. I saw it 25 years ago. So, parang in a way, na-prepare ko rin yung mindset ko on what to expect. But syempre, iba pa rin, no? Pagka yung plans mo biglang 360 turn around, no? Na there was a time that I was bedridden for 5 years. So, nagkataon lang during that time, I have people like Miss Hazel, no? Yung mga therapists ako na who became my friends. At hanggang ngayon, mga kumare at kumpare ko na sila, ay hindi ko masyadong naramdaman na bored ako habang ako'y bedridden. Dahil ang dami kong katsikahan at ang dami kong ginagawa. But then, I realized also, looking back, no, na ngayon ako'y nasa advocacy. Those times na I was bedridden, those were the times na I developed certain values na kailangan ko pala ngayon. And one of them is listening. No? During those time, I listened to stories ng aking mga therapies, mga love life, mga work-related stories, mga difficulties sa bahay, family problems. So, parang na-develop yung pagkakaroon ng pagiging counselor. No? So, I realized, yun pala yung magagamit ko ngayon sa advocacy. So, I didn't know that for others, yung disability ay barrier. No? Barrier for them. But for me, it was an access. It became my access towards a purpose in life. Because of my disability, I was able to realize what my mission really was. So, kung yung iba, sabi ko nga sa mga nakakausap ko, kung yung iba namamatay, hindi nila alam yung purpose sa buhay nila. Tayong mga person with disability, alam na natin. From the moment we had this disability, alam na natin saan yung direction na gusto ni God or a purpose for us. So let's use it for greater purpose. So ganun yung nangyari sa akin, Miss Erika. My disability led me to my mission. So when I was able to enter the world of advocacy, ito yung sector ng person with disability in 2008, kasi yun yung nag-apply na ako ng person with disability ID. Akala ko before, pumasok ako sa organization, ay kami magkakape-kape lang. Magkwekwentuhan lang ng mga buhay. Mag-sharing lang kami ng mga pains, mga pinagdaanan and all. Mali pala. Seryosong usapan pala yung advocacy. There was a time na nung nagkakaroon kami ng mga training sa laws, no, ng UNCRPD, no, 30 plus articles you have to study and understand how it will affect the sector. Biglang nag-flashback sa akin nung ako'y nasa college at ako'y third year graduating na po, trimester. Biglang sabi ng aking professor sa tax, ay bakit hindi ka kumuha ng law? Sabi sa akin. Ha? Sabi ko, sir, pag-graduate na po ako. Huwag niyo na ako babalikin ng school. Kasi nung time na yun, nag-start na yung aking mga pains, no? yung illness. So I was really aching to graduate. No? So, nung ko na-realize, nung nagse-seminar na about UNCRPD, sana nakinig ako kay professor. Sana nakinig ako. Naging easy na sana itong mga ito. Pero, to cut the long story short, maraming kailangan aralin in order to implement, no, yung different laws ng sector. At hindi po siya madali. Thank God, mayroon tayong mga NGOs, foundations like Leonard Sechar na willing mag-capacitate, no, ng mga leaders. At ito po yung nakita namin at the start nung binuo namin yung Las Piñas Person with Disability Federation in 2009. Many of us came from private life. No? Wala kami alam sa government, wala kami alam sa barangay, wala kami alam sa mga engagement, no? Yung mga lobbyings. No? So, we have to learn our way in. So, nung nag-umpisa kami at nag-federate noong August of 2009, bali, kami isang non-profit disabled people's organization that advocates for the rights and equal opportunities of persons with disability. The Federation works with different government units and other NGOs to advance their cause of making Las Piñas an inclusive community. So, nung nagsimula po kami, thank God na yung mga persons with disabilities sa area, we have same vision. No? At ang vision po namin ay to be a federation of empowered persons with disability, working towards promoting an all-inclusive nation. So gusto namin makasama ang persons with disability in all programs, projects, and activities doon sa aming locality. Dapat hindi naiiwan ang person with disability. So para mangyari po yan, we created a mission. We have to unite persons with disabilities in Las Piñas. and be a model federation and empower its members to become self-reliant, productive, and active members of the society. Kaya po ang Las Person with Disability Federation, malaki ang parte ng capacity building at mga leadership training na at the start, kahit wala pa po kaming funding at that time, we started training our officers on our own, no? Yung mga leaders. We volunteered to train para nang sa ganun ay ma-impart yung knowledge sa persons with disability. So dito na nag-start yung mga engagements namin with Leonard Seshire. So I'll be talking about the Project Voice, no? Dahil isa po ito sa pinangarap na programa ng Federation for the Persons with Disability, yung economic empowerment. So we started, nagkaroon po na exploratory meeting. I think it was Doc Mao who texted or called me regarding this project. At pinipili nila yung different organizations na mapapasama sa Voice Project. So we were called in. Next slide, please. So napasama ang Lesbian Person with Disability Federation sa other organizations, no? 16 all in all. So nag-project launch po ito by March of last year. So next slide, please. So, nung kami napasama, nagkaroon po ng organizational assessment. Dito kasama po si Sir Paul Nuevo, nung nag-assess at pumunta sa Las Piñas. At doon po namin na-realize nasan yung gaps ng federation. Nasan yung strength, nasan yung weaknesses. At kung paano po yun may improve. At paano makakatulong si Leonard Seshire. Next slide, please. So we also were trained, no? Yung part of the team were trained for advocacy, no? Under Miss Sylvia, no? Kasama po siya dyan. It was I think 3-day training, no? At marami po na natutunan yung mga leaders during this seminar, no? Or training. Lalo na yung sinasabi ni Doc Mao kanina na dapat in lobbying, we should learn the art at hindi po dapat nang aaway ng government official or ng ating mga stakeholders. So dito po, pinakita po yan. Next slide, please. So during the project also, I think this was in December, nagkaroon ng Voice Summit. So lahat po ng mga organizations na under Voice ay nagsama-sama. At dito ko naman po na nakita yung beauty ng collaboration. Working with other sectors, seeing their needs also, seeing yung mga problems nila, yung mga pinagdadaanan. And malaking tulong na nakaka-share ka on how you were able to engage with the government. So, dito namin na-realize na iilan lang po talaga yung organization na nakakapag-engage with the government. So, nandoon yung gap. No? Next slide, please. So, nung nag-start na po yung pagbibigay ng proposals, with Leonard Seshire. Isa po sa nagustuhan ng organization with Leonard Seshire is their ability to listen to the organizations, to the partner organizations. Nung sinabi namin sa kanila that we need certain activities at our local level para magkaroon ng engagement with local officials. Readily, they just told us to make a proposal, and everything went on, no. So from then on, we decide, and they let sila lang po yung nagga-guide sa amin. So tinulungan nila kami to engage, to have the funding, no, to engage with the local officials, to have meetings, at para maumpisahan yung ordinansa na, kumbaga. So doon po pumasok yung project ng Leonard. Next slide, please. So nagkaroon din kami ng mga disability sensitivity training. So kami po yung unang partner organizations na nakita namin agad yung opportunity to do a disability sensitivity training at that time po for our newly elected officers, no, and leaders sa mga barangay, no. We have 20 barangay person with disability associations. So nakita namin yung opportunity at na binigay ng Leonard Sachar para ma-improve po sila at magkaroon sila ng orientation on disability sensitivity. So next slide, please. It was also through Leonard Sachar na ang mga leaders po ay na-engage through virtual trainings, no. Alam naman natin nitong pandemic, lahat po ay kailangan matuto technically on how to engage virtually, at nagkaroon kami ng mga training on disability on the different platforms, no, para magkaroon ng mga orientation seminars online. So isa na po itong disability sensitivity training. So I was one of the first speakers na in-onboard po at nakisalamuha po sa iba't ibang leaders ng different cities and organizations. Until lately nga po ay gumawa na po ng training for speakers, no, ang Leonard Sachar, na sila na po yung bababa at magbibigay ng mga disability awareness and sensitivity trainings. Next slide, please. So ito po yung mga resource speakers, no, na na-develop ng Leonard Sachar. At ang isa rin pinagpapasalamat namin, there was an opportunity to submit a proposal for COVID-19 response, no, during the pandemic sa CBM, no. Nagkaroon ng call at ang NCR Federation ay nag-submit po at ginide po kami ng Leonard Sachar para po maging successful yung aming entry at na-approve yung aming cash assistance, no, proposal for under the CBM, na until now ay ginagawa po yan ng research for a policy ng disability support allowance. So malapit na rin po siyang matapos. So instrumental din dyan ang Leonard Sachar, no? Next slide, please. So sa end po namin sa Las Piñas, at the start of the pandemic noong March, nakita na po namin yung difficulty ng relief operations. During the first few months of the pandemic, medyo marami po sa person with disability ang hindi napapasama sa relief operations. Kaya nagkaroon po ng survey noon ang Philippine Coalition para nang sa ganun isubmit ito sa ating Commission on Human Rights. No? At ito naman pong result na to ay naibigay sa DILG. So while waiting for that time na ma-include talaga ang person with disability, the Federation thought of having its own fundraising para lang sa ganun matugunan yung mga needs ng mga person with disability. Luckily, meron pong isa na private individual who was working in New York at that time. She was a designer at gusto lang niya mag-celebrate ng kanyang birthday at that time, no, nung April. At sinabi niya doon sa aming SK president na I wanted to help the person with disabilities instead of celebrating my birthday. So dito po pinanganak yung Give Hope from Home. So she started the fundraising in New York sa mga ka-office mates po niya doon. At yung funding po na yan ay nagamit namin to feed 400 families of persons with disabilities. So, nagulat kami na kinaya. The next na difficulty namin would be paano ang relief distribution. Hindi natin kaya because of the pandemic na i-distribute yun sa isang lugar lang. So we have to do it per barangay. No? So we have volunteer officers na bumaba doon sa bawat barangay na dala-dala yung mga relief goods. At sila na rin, yung mga officers naman ng barangay na yon, sila naman yung, ang role nila is to repack yung mga relief goods sa area nila. At yun naman yung, sila naman yung mag-distribute sa kanilang mga members. So, thank God, wala naman pong nagkasakit ng COVID or nahawaan during the relief distribution. So, medyo lumakas yung loob namin na, ay, okay pala yung ganitong sistema. So, one of our partners at that time was Ateneo. So, we have a learning engagement in the community through the Ateneo School of Medicine for Public Health. So, nung nakita nila yung project, sabi nila, can we sponsor batch 2? So, nanganak na naman siya. So, batch 2 naman nung Give Hope from Home was by Ateneo. So, ito naman, it fed 500 families of persons with disability. No? So, lumakas pa ulit ang loob. Batch 3, yun naman aking school batch nung ako high school. Ay nakita po nila sa Facebook. Sabi nila sa akin, bakit hindi ka humingi ng tulong sa amin? May ginagawa kang magandang activity. So, batch 3 was sponsored by St. Mary's Academy, Pasay High School, batch 83. So, yun po ay nakapag-feed naman ng 600 families of persons with disability. So, ito lahat siguro nakikita yung movement sa Facebook. So, one of our partners, yung Lasal naman po, De La Salle Costa, ay nag-engage din po sa amin. At nag-create naman sila ng Adapt a Community Project. So, yan naman po ang naging bunga. So, another hundreds of persons with disabilities na naman po yung nabigyan during that time. So, I think that was July, no? So, another partner na naman po ng Federation, ang gumalaw din po ang Green Foundation for Persons with Disability. So, a project for COVID-19 response, no? They gave naman po sacks of rice, no? 40 sacks of rice. So, ito'y naging part din po ng fundraising. So, kung nakikita nyo sa sunod-sunod na projects na yan po, since March, wala pong nabakanting month na hindi po nakapag-distribute ng relief ang Federation through the goodness of others. And in July, So we talk with DSWD NCR through the NCR Federation. At yun naman po yung binigay sa amin ni Director Vincent Thomas, na binigyan naman po ng ang every city ng 200 packs ng relief goods with hygiene kits for persons with disability. So yan naman po ay distribute sa 10 cities na naka-engage po sa NCR. Next slide please. Ito rin po isang malaking magandang engagement with the Las Piñas Person with Disability Federation, yung CARE. It's COVID-afflicted relief efforts made by physical therapies from different areas. No, napili po nila ang Las Piñas to be the beneficiaries of the relief efforts. So dyan po, they have 654 families of persons with disabilities na nabigyan po ng relief, na hindi lang po sila basta nagbigay. They really interviewed the family at tinanong ano yung kailangan nila. No? So may care po talaga nung ginawa po yan. So ito po yung mga other COVID response projects from different barangays naman po yan, na tuloy-tuloy dahil po sa mga efforts ay parang na-encourage sila to do, no, to give hope kahit nasa bahay lang. Also Rotary of Las Piñas Uptown, sila naman po ay nag-engage sa federation to do face mask, no, na to be sewn by mothers of children with disability.
Wow. Okay.
So ayan din po ay isang project with CBM na kung saan ginaid din kami ng Leonard Sashar, CBM cash grants. Nagbigay po ng I think that was 1,700 pesos, no, per person, na binigay po sa different beneficiaries for 10 cities in NCR. So dito po ginawan din niya ng study na nakita sa survey that 99% of the respondents ay hindi po nakakuha ng medical assistance sa kanilang local areas. No? So, nakita dito yung need para po matugunan yung add-on cost ng mga taong may kapansanan at nasa severe condition. So, ito po ngayon ay ginagawan po ng policy, no, para nang sa ganun maging isang ordinance na po siya sa bawat locality, no, regarding the disability support allowance. Kahit magsimula lang siya sa mga persons with severe disabilities. Next please. At ito po, kailan lang po, fresh na fresh, November 9, from the Federation naman po, hygiene kits and school supplies were given to 1,200 families of persons with disabilities. No, na taon-taon, ginagawa po yung school supplies distribution. But this year, we realign the budget and gave also hygiene kits para po maprotektahan yung ating sektor. At sa paglabas-labas po nila ay hindi po sila mahawa ng COVID. So we're here with our Mayor Mel Aguilar, at our Vice Mayor namin, si April Aguilar, na siyang kinakausap namin ngayon regarding an ordinance for inclusive employment. So, yun po. Ang sigaw po ng Las Piñas Person with Disability Federation is together, we can do more. So, ito po yung mga numbers namin in case you need to join us or participate with our activities. At ang cry po namin, together, we can create more possibilities. Let us all change the way we see disability. Dapat po, ang disability, hindi lang po siya concern ng mga families of person with disability, but the whole community. Dahil one way or the other, sa future, ay baka any member of the family can also develop a disability. So sana ngayon, gawin na natin lahat ng kaya natin to make our society inclusive and accessible. Thank you so much.
Thank you po, Miss Ana Fe. So, ayun nga po, you were able to see yung mga nagawa po ng mga projects. And actually, ang dami pong nagawa po na projects. So, congrats po on the success of those projects na na-implement po. Before we move to our closing segment, a while ago I mentioned po na it's the Deaf Awareness Week from November 10 to November 16. So it's actually the 29th Deaf Awareness Week celebration with the theme We Hear as One, Defying Communication Barriers for the Empowerment of Deaf Persons. And actually, may provide po sila na video that we want to play on making a difference. So can we roll that video, please? Ayan po. So thank you, Miss Mariah, for that very quick video. But there she, so she is based where po pala, si Mariah?
Mariah is based in Cebu, in Mandaue actually.
Okay.
She is a trans woman also and president of the Mandaue Deaf Federation for the Deaf.
Wow, ganda. Ganda ng video. I like Mariah's video. So, before we close po the show, I would like to ask po, each one of you, maybe you could share some words of encouragement to the viewers today who tuned in sa Making a Difference. So, maybe we can start po with Miss Ana Fe. May mga words of encouragement po.
As I've mentioned earlier po, disability should not be the concern only of persons with disability and their family. No? Dapat tulong-tulong po tayo sa community. Kung naalala nyo po doon sa pinakita ko pong projects kanina, the Give Hope from Home was started by one private individual. Gusto niya lang instead of celebrating her birthday, she started a fundraising. And now we're on our fourth batch, no, with the SK Federation. Mm-hmm. So, just like Leonard Sechar, na nakinig sa mga partner organizations, sana pakinggan din natin ang persons with disability, what they are saying, that they don't want pity, we don't want na kawaan kami, or kami ay mag-beg para lang magkaroon ng work. But look at our abilities, look at our skills, ano yung pwedeng ma-contribute sa society. At sana, give us that opportunity. Sana you respect diversity. At Baka sakali, pagka ganoon, magkatulungan tayo. Life is one big puzzle. Everyone has a role to play. So let the persons with disability play the role and change the society into an inclusive one.
Thank you so much, Miss Anafe, for those beautiful words. Inspired naman po yung mga words ninyo po. Miss Hazel, any words of encouragement that you would like to give to us?
Yes, thank you, Erica, and thank you to my colleagues in Leonard Seshar. Um, I think I would give this message by sharing our work in Leonard Seshar relevant to the COVID-19 pandemic and the calamities we experienced during this time. Over the years, we have been implementing a lot of programs, but this time is really challenging for everyone, especially for us non-government organizations, that we also depend from support of our donors. But we are very happy that until now we are able to implement the programs because of the trust and of course the support of our funding agencies. And I would like to highlight that as an organization that is focused on persons with disabilities and as a development oriented organization, we need to be innovative, creative, and resourceful for us to deliver our programs to our beneficiaries, especially during this time of pandemic and calamities. What is important here is for our government in the national, local level, to our fellow development workers and disability rights advocates, other non government organizations, civil society organizations. Let us remember that in whatever we do as part of our response or intervention, we should always ensure that all these efforts are responsive to the needs of our beneficiaries, meaning consultation and participation of disabled people's organizations are very crucial. This will guarantee that no one is left behind. Walang isang tao pag-iiwanan. Especially during this time, we ensure that people with disabilities fully participate and we provide the appropriate and needed support for them. And everyone should have access to information. So, again, in all that we do, important to remember that we maintain the heart and sensitivity of our partners and beneficiaries, to our partners and beneficiaries. Thank you at maraming salamat muli sa pag-imbita sa amin dito sa inyong programa.
Thank you po so much, Miss Hazel. And of course, last but not the least, Doc Mao, any words of encouragement to our viewers?
Yeah, thank you, Erica, for inviting us here. Thank you, Ate Anafe and Hazel, for those wonderful messages. I have one quote from The Little Prince. It is only in the heart that what one can see rightly. What is essential is invisible to the eye. So, if we work with passion and care, if we have empathy with all the people we work with our partners, if we talk less and listen more, if we know the values of the things that we are doing and the reason we go back to the objectives or the reason why we're doing these things, babalikan natin yun, no? The changing of the mindsets and the changing of the perceptions in how we do things. It's not just about me, my family, the people in the community that I work with, but I should also understand them at the end of the day for me to be able to work hand in hand with them. Having empathy, concern, and passion, and advocating for the rights and promoting for the rights of persons with disability is really very important. and transcending to them, no? It is very important, no? To transcend, no? Para ma-transcend, maipabatid sa kanila na hindi po dahil kami ay dapat kaawaan, kami po ay productive, contributing members of the society. Kailangan din po namin ng tulong one way or another. Pero wag po namang ipamukha sa amin na kami nga po ay hindi nakakatulong. Wag po kami ituturo na isa po kami sa mahirap o pasakit sa nangyayari sa atin. Kasi sabi nga po ni Ate Anafe, we have our roles to play. Give us ano po ba ang role na pwede sa amin? Pero kami rin po ang po pwede makakapagsabi sa inyo kung hanggat saan ang kaya namin at kung ano rin po ang aming pangangailangan. Consultation and meaningful and active participation is really very important for all of us. At pakiusap din po sa social media na kami rin po ay mga sexual na tao. Kami po ay may pakiramdam. Nasasaktan po kami pag nakita po namin kami po ay kinakaladkad o ginagaya na nakikita namin sa social media. Ano po? So, ganoon din po siguro mararamdaman ninyo kapag ganoon din ang nakikita niyong panggagaya sa inyo. We don't want to be discriminated. Give us the chance to have our voice, to raise our voice. Magtulungan po tayo. What's gotta work? Teamwork. Sabi nga po. Yes, and with that, 10 po ng Board of Trustees ng LCDPFI. Maraming salamat po and always please change the way we see disability so that no one will be left behind and it's always nothing about us.
Thank you very much again po, Doc Maureen, Miss Hazel, and Miss Anna Fair for being on the show and talking about the foundation and just really empowering those with disabilities po, no? So I hope you stay safe and I hope po to meet you din po eventually in person pag when everything's all well and we're all safe. So take care and again thank you po so much for being on Making a Difference. I will see you soon. Bye po.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Ayan, there you have it. So again, my guests were from the Leonard Cheshire Disability Philippines Foundation. So I hope you learned a lot today, and I hope they also change the way you really look at those with disabilities. They're also human beings as well, and it's so great that this foundation really empowers those with the disabilities. So again, if you want to volunteer for them, go ahead, check them out. So that's the Leonard Cheshire Disability Philippines Foundation. You can find them on Facebook, and you can also find them on their website. Before I leave, I would also like to show something. Actually, this is one of the drives that my organization is doing. So we have partnered actually with De La Salle Medical and Health Science Institute, Institutional Student Council, also with UST, College of Education Student Council, and University of Nueva Caceres, sorry. Ayan, so my organization, Barangay Ayala Alabang Helping Hearts Organization, has partnered with these 4 universities. So ayan po, sama-sama para sa pag-ahon ng Luzon. So again, this is a donation drive for the recent typhoons, for all the recent typhoons. And this is also done by Project Kapwa organization. So this is formed by youth volunteers from Mega Manila to provide aid to the most vulnerable communities from conflict and disaster. So I will be posting this poster on Making a Difference page. If you want to donate, you can just refer to this poster. Ayan po. So I hope everybody is doing well and you're staying safe. Again, please don't forget, I love to remind you guys of this. Please don't forget to wear your face masks and your face shields every time you have to go out, practice social distancing, and please take care of yourselves, everyone. I will see you again next week on Making a Difference, same time, same place. Bye, everyone.
The program for the millennials that will showcase young professionals' worth, aspirations, and successes in doing what they believe is right, progressive, and inclusive. Making a difference. Making a difference. Join them as they discover the path to self and societal fulfillment while making a difference. Hosted by empowered and cool millennial Erika Mison. Together with her cool millennials, they will be making a difference. Every Saturday, 3 p.m. Philippine time. Only here on V81 Radio, South Manila. Walang kasing saya ang Paskong Pinoy. Dumaan man ang problema at pandemya, kayang-kayang lampasan. Basta't nagdadamayan at nagmamahalan.
Ho, ho, ho! Merry Christmas!
Tuloy na tuloy pa rin ang Pasko dito sa V81 Radio, Manila.
Ito ang paborito ng bawat Pilipino. Basta all hits, all Pinoy, panalo. Merong kwentong iyakan at tawanan. Kahit nasaan ka man, ito'y mapapakinggan. Oh,
V81 Radio, V81 Radio.
ito ang radio mo, ito ang radio ko.
V81 Radio, V81 Radio.
Dahil mahal namin kayo.
V81 Radio, V81 Radio.
Para sa inyo ito, V81 Radio.